Welcome everyone to the Heartland Continuum of Care General Membership Meeting, and I'll call the meeting to order at 9:03 this morning. You should have received your June minutes. Is there any questions or any corrections that need to be made to that? All right, hearing none, the minutes will stand as presented. We're excited this morning to have a presentation, or actually maybe more, I was going to say an update on 988 and our mobile crisis response from Memorial Behavioral Health. It just got launched. So Monica, if you're there and ready, let's hear an update on what's going on.
I am here and I'm ready. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, good morning, everyone. And we would love to give you an update on 988 and our mobile crisis response team. So we're excited. Hopefully you've seen it plastered all over the paper. We've been doing radio interviews, TV interviews about 988. It rolled out officially Saturday, July 16th. And so one thing that we have noticed so far is that a lot of our calls are coming through 988 now and not the 1-800 number. So for those of you who might not be as familiar with 988, this is replacing our National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. It's now called the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. So if people would still call that 1-800-273-8255 number, they will still be connected with 988. And so they are still okay to use that number. It's just, it's so much easier to remember 988 than all those other numbers. So we're really excited that it finally is here and live. What people can do is people can call this number. What they will expect is they will be connected immediately with a real person, with a live person, not an automated system asking them to hold for the next available caller. As soon as they call, they'll be connected. And that initial few seconds, they're going to be asked for some just very basic info, a name and a phone number. And we would like a phone number just in case we get disconnected so that we can call them back. This can remain anonymous though. We do not push it if the person does not want to give us their name yet. We are okay with that. And we'll just jump right into the reason why they're calling. The next questions we're going to ask, they're going to be very direct questions. Are you having suicidal thoughts? Are you having thoughts of harming others? We're also going to ask if there is a suicide in progress, because we want to know the safety of this individual. But again, the main reason for calling this number is because the person is experiencing some kind of crisis mental health event, and they're wanting to get some immediate support from a trained professional who can help them with their behavioral health. After we have talked, what we will try to do is we'll try to safety plan with them and get them linked up with their local provider. Now Memorial Behavioral Health has established a call center, and our call center counselors, we have 4 dedicated positions for crisis counselors that will be stationed just doing the 988 call center and working with our mobile crisis response phone number. And these individuals are going to be helping link individuals with Memorial Behavioral Health Services or anything that's within our communities. Our region of service that we're providing for our call center are Sangamon Menard, Logan Mason, Morgan Scott, and Christian counties. Now, we could receive phone calls from other regions, and so we're currently in process of trying to get more information on other regions, their own call centers, as well as their mobile crisis response teams in those locations, so that we can help link people up if they do call us from other regions. The main difference of when do you call 988 versus when do you call 911 is we want people to still call 911 if there is a life-threatening event occurring. So if the person is having a suicide attempt in progress, we want 911 contacted so that someone immediately can respond to secure their medical safety. But if the person is just needing emotional support or wanting to talk with a mental health professional, then they can contact 988. It doesn't have to just be the person in crisis either. It can be a third party, so that if someone, if a loved one or a friend knows someone who's struggling with mental health issues or they feel is in a crisis, they too can call 988, and that call center counselor can help provide them some guidance on what next steps that they can take to help. So, and as I said, the 988 call center is going to work really closely with our mobile crisis response team. And in fact, we're going to even have them paired up, located in the same area, just so that they can really work with each other. The 988 call center is going to be serving as our dispatch for our mobile crisis response team. The mobile crisis response phone number of 217-788-7070 is still active. And we still want people to call that number directly if they're in our region and they want someone from our area or our location. Then we still encourage people to call the mobile crisis response team. They will be, once our crisis counselors for the call center are trained up, they will be talking with our call center staff, regardless if they call 988 or the mobile crisis response team. At this time, our call center is, for our region, is active Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Anything that falls beyond those hours, so weekends and after hours, people can still call 988. It's just they won't receive one of our call center counselors. They're going to be routed to another call center in Illinois, or potentially in another state if all call centers are currently on calls. So I don't want to, send that misperception that it's a guarantee that if you call 988 that you would receive someone from Memorial Behavioral Health. But if you do contact the mobile crisis response line, you definitely will be receiving somebody from Memorial Behavioral Health. Our mobile crisis response team, has been 24/7 fully active for our fourth quarter, which ended in June. So from April until June, I do have some quick stats I can provide you. Our mobile crisis response team served 423 individuals for crisis screens. Those were either via telehealth or in person. And we did 169 screens that were resolved over the telephone, and 239 screens were in-person responses. Telehealth has really been quite a savior, and there are national statistics showing that about 80% of phone calls do end up in resolving that person's crisis. And I think we're kind of seeing that as well here. Out of that 423, only 49 screens were referred to the emergency department for further evaluation or placement for inpatient psychiatry. So a lot of individuals were able to be resolved and crisis stabilized in the community. 174 mobile crisis response screens came through directly our mobile crisis response phone number, that 217-788-7070 number. And about 40 screens came in through our crisis line, which is now the 988 line. So just an update on mobile crisis response teams for Sigmund Menard. We are 24/7, 365 for both telehealth and in-person responses. For Morgan Scott, we are live for both telehealth and in-person responses Sunday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. From 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., it is telehealth only. For Logan Mason, we are telehealth only. If an in-person response is needed, then the person will be referred to the hospital. And the same thing with Christian County. We are telehealth only at this time, and if in-person is needed, they'll be referred to the hospital. So if you know of anyone who's looking for jobs, we do have mobile crisis response positions open, and we do still have one call center crisis counselor position open as well. If you know of anyone who has lived experience or anyone with a bachelor's degree in psychology, send them our way.
Thank you, Monica. Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Sure. Go ahead, Terrence.
This is Terrence Jordan from Springfield School District. And my question was, do you anticipate that number increasing once school starts? Because this will be replacing SAS, right?
So we always experience an increase when school starts with our SAS responses. And what we encourage people to do for if they're wanting a SAS response is to contact Mobile Crisis Response directly. So contact that 217-788-7070 number. If you contact 988, there is a chance you would be connected with another region's call center. Now, we have provided other call centers with our contact information for Mobile Crisis Response. So hopefully we would still get that call from the school district. But if you want an immediate and direct response, contact our Mobile Crisis Response team.
Monica, would you put that number in the chat for us when you're
Yes,
finished?
absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much. Terrence, that answer your question?
Yes, it did.
Okay, are there any other questions? This is more a curiosity question, noting from the crisis response team, the number of people that were sent directly or, referred, I guess, to ER. Is that a decrease in numbers? Because I mean, I just know what it costs the ER to handle so many of these mental health issue, emergencies. So is that a decrease? Do you know?
So we don't know. We just started collecting that data. We're hoping over time we'll be able to see, if that has decreased. I do know that our emergency department numbers are still pretty healthy. We provided just under 2,000 screens just for the last half year at the emergency department. So, but what we do hope, though, is by being able for our mobile crisis response team to now not just see children or youth in crisis in the community, but because they're also seeing adults now in the community and regardless of payer source, we are hoping that we are resolving and doing more crisis stabilization in the community so that they're not having to go to the emergency department. And so we were very happy to see that there were only about 49 individuals that needed that further service.
Well, I thought actually when I heard that number, I thought that was probably pretty good, but I was kind of curious about that. Yeah.
Well, we hope to report out some more success.
Well, I think you've done a great job, and hopefully all of us on this call will take that information and spread it further into the community. But I think you've done a great job of getting that information out there, and I think it's great that we're finally moving in that direction a little bit further, and I appreciate it. Of course, obviously, I was out at Korn Ferry, and it's probably a bygone conclusion, but I was personally in 2 conversations talking about 988. So, but yeah, I think I'm excited for our community to have this resource.
Yes, and we've seen people are posting and reposting 988 on Facebook pages and social media. And so if you ever come across, a Facebook page and you just keep reposting it, it's amazing how far that can travel.
Sure, absolutely. Are there any other questions? All right, thank you, Monica. Really appreciate it. And as anything comes up, we hope you'll keep us informed.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. All right, Nick, the housing navigation, how are things going?
Hey, everybody. Nick Dodson, Housing Navigator for the Heartland Continuum of Care, housed at Helping Hands. Things are going great. On May 23rd, Sergeant Doss reached out to the Heartland Continuum of Care. I don't know if folks heard about an encampment in town, but this is kind of like a little summarization of what's been going on. I'm really proud of the collaboration that happened between Fifth Street Renaissance, Helping Hands, Officer Newman, Shannon Allen. We all kind of just came around this group of folks, and I'm really proud of how we've been mitigating it. So far, we've gotten a family of 4 permanently rehoused in collaboration with Cass County Housing Authority. One male was housed with the help of homeless prevention funds from Fifth Street Renaissance and work finding a landlord that would house them with me. Another was housed with just their funds. They didn't get any resources, but we were able to find a landlord that would accept the evictions and their current state. So of the 10 units, I believe that are out there, I think we've gotten about 6 housed, and I think that's pretty awesome, honestly. So I'm
Wow.
really, really proud of Shannon, Mike, Officer Doss, Yolanda, everybody that's been involved with it. Because I think it's a really cool, like I said, collaboration that we're seeing in real time. So with that being said, we've also hit 35 vouchers utilized for the EHVs. We still have 2 that are in process. So still working on that. The Landlord Risk Mitigation Fund, as a reminder, did pass at the board level. And we did find some folks that are very interested in being on the advisory board. A couple of those people are here, and I really thank those individuals for coming to this meeting initially, as well as being committed to working with us on this really special program that we're really excited to get going, because even cities like Peoria have reached out asking about the policy. And in fact, I will be presenting to the Springfield Area Landlord Association on August the 9th about the Landlord Risk Mitigation Fund to help them understand they are stakeholders. And just as a reminder, folks that are in the rapid rehousing, payee services, permanent supportive housing programs are all able to utilize this Landlord Risk Mitigation Fund. So if anybody's curious about it, I'll be glad to send the one sheet out, explain it again, because it is just getting rocking and rolling. I know we did talk about it a while back, but it's something I'm really excited about for the community. Further, another shout out to Shannon and Mike. I don't even know if either of them are here, but a month ago, I got a call from them about a person that was home insecure with 6 children and a voucher that was going to expire.
Oh.
They had a voucher that was 4 months. It was like they had already renewed it several times. They had no luck finding a 4-bedroom unit. I called everyone I knew, and I'd say it was July 15th it was to expire. July 13th, we were able to find a unit and get it turned in time. So I'm really, really proud of the 3 of us kind of coming together around this individual and the family in finding a spot for them. So I'm really excited about how things are going. So if anybody, I can ever assist anyone finding a unit for folks in need, if I can help try and connect with resources or pass you a list of landlords, I'm here for it. So please don't hesitate to reach out. I'll put my contact information in the chat as well.
Well, thank you, Nick, and congratulations to everyone. That's fantastic. I had heard a little bit about all of that. So congratulations and thank you for working so tirelessly in our community. Appreciate that. So you meeting with the Solid Group at one of their meetings, Nick?
Yeah, so August the 9th, it's the second Tuesday of every month. If anybody would like to come as my guest as well, it's a open room at the VFW Hall on Old Jacksonville Road. Over kind of by the Long John Silver's area. So if anybody'd like to join, it's 7 o'clock, August 9th. I'll be glad to, shoot a reminder to anybody that might want to come along as well. It's a great way to build rapport with landlords. In fact, sometimes I don't even have to ask for listings. I'll just get them texted to me. They know not to even say, good morning, how you doing? They just say, here's the room, here's the price kind of thing, which is perfect. We don't need the casualties when we're doing that kind of thing. So I think it's a great way to kind of get your face in front of these individuals and build that rapport that is sincerely needed to build that trust for getting these folks housed.
Well, thank you. That speaks also to your participation, your level of the level of trust that they have with you. So thank you so much for all your help. I appreciate it, Nick. Okay. Any questions for Nick? All right. Okay, Josh, drum roll here. Let's go. Let's hear about the strategic plan update.
Absolutely. And I just want to piggyback on that to say a year ago at this time, we didn't have a housing navigator, right? And so just in that short presentation, you got to hear about how that role and Nick in that role has helped to divert people from homelessness, has helped through the emergency housing voucher and that partnership with the housing authority to help end people's homelessness. And so I think that's just an exciting development for our community, and great for you all to hear about the impact of it. On the strategic plan side, you've been getting the same update for several months that we're getting closer. In the next month, we're going to be rolling out drafts of the strategic plan and beginning to create education and targeting groups to share the strategic plan draft with, to get feedback. And so this morning, I wanted to take a few moments to walk through the high level, the four main initiatives that are in the strategic plan. There's a lot more in addition to this, but for today, I just wanted to sort of prime you all. And this body is one body that we want to give a full presentation of the draft to, with the ultimate goal of getting this body to adopt the strategic plan. So that'll be something we'll be actually in the coming weeks, months, asking you to vote on and adopt. So I wanted to walk through a few pieces here. This vision is something we've shared with you before, but this is sort of what has been driving the steering committee as they've been working on this project. The ultimate vision is to create a collaborative, unified system that provides people experiencing homelessness an equitable, trauma-informed, and coordinated community system where all can access the housing and support services that each person needs to thrive. At the last steering committee meeting, the steering committee affirmed the goal of reaching functional zero by the end of 2027. And so that is for all of you that are on the front lines and doing this work in all kinds of different ways, you recognize how lofty of a goal that is. But I think it's significant that community partners are saying, we're here, we want to come to the table and provide the resources that are needed to move further in that direction. So
Josh, would you explain what functional zero means?
Yeah, essentially the idea behind functional zero is that when a person experiences homelessness, the system would be able to help them resolve that homelessness within 30 days. So, and that's regardless, a lot of times, as you do that, communities often start with veterans. We want to reach functional zero for veterans, and then maybe we'll focus on a different population group, chronic homelessness, and so on. So, but the idea there, and what this goal is heading towards, is that anytime a person experiences homelessness within Sangamon County, the goal would be able to provide opportunities to end that homelessness within 30 days. And then to sustain that over a period of time in order for it to truly be functional zero. So that's a long ways away from where we have been. It's a long ways away from where we are now. So it's a significant commitment and a goal, I think, on the part of our community. I wanted to give you an idea too. I think you've seen this early on in the process, but just wanted to put it back out there again. The steering committee that's been driving this process is made up of these folks here on this slide, representing a number of different community partners and representing people with lived experience on the steering committee as well. And so just want you to continue to know, I think we've talked about it, but there again, want you to know who is getting together to do this work on a monthly basis at this point. And then walking through the four key strategies. The first strategy is to work together to address homelessness. A lot of the strategy headings are truly nothing groundbreaking and nothing far out from what our community has been working to do. I think really where the strategic plan begins to help our community is in the implementation steps. And so part of what this strategy is going to advocate for is a little bit of a different structure for how our community organizes to address homelessness. One piece of that will be to create what we're calling a strategy board. This board, you'll learn more about that when we give the full presentation, but it will include key community stakeholders, people with lived experience, with the goal of really focusing on what that strategy is, how can we get to functional zero, and what resources are needed. If you think about the work of the continuum now, I think we often find ourselves in a place of saying, hey, we need X, Y, and Z to move forward. But at the same time, we have no power, no control over resources to help move those things forward. And so this structure is designed to address that need. When agencies say, hey, if we could expand rapid rehousing and hire 3 more case managers and had funding to provide that housing, we could serve this many people. Now, as that connects to the strategy, it would be the responsibility of the strategy board to say, let's find the resources needed to make that happen. This next part, respond to citizen concerns about homelessness and citing housing through information sharing and community engagement. That one is really focused on, we know that we need a significant increase in units available through landlord engagement, through the housing navigator position. We've begun to build on that. But we know as we move forward, we're going to need more units, solely focused on permanent supportive housing. We're going to need to continue to expand units. And as we do that, we anticipate that we're going to have to do a lot of engagement with our community and neighborhood associations to address concerns along the way. Another part is something we've been working towards for a while, but creating a lived experience advisory board. So helping to really ensure that the experience of people who have experienced homelessness, that expertise factors into all the decisions we make and how we move forward as a community. And then improve the collection and use of data to reduce inequities and improve our system to address homelessness. I'm sure there's tons of questions about this, and I just want to reiterate too that for you all, there will be a full presentation that digs deeper into this and gives you a time to raise any concerns or go deeper into any of these individual topics. Strategy 2 is to create safe, effective housing opportunities. A key development here would be the creation of this housing task force. This would be a body that would be staffed with the sole goal of saying, we know we need to create more units. We know we need to expand the units that are available. How do we do that? How can we build capacity to do that? That would be the key focus of this particular task group. Connected to that, we would create more permanent housing opportunities for people experiencing homelessness and ensure full and stable funding for permanent housing projects. The third one, create stable, effective, community-wide crisis housing that serves all people experiencing homelessness. Identify and link unsheltered Sangamon County residents to crisis and permanent housing and other needs. Build diversion strategies and resources to support returning households to housing immediately. And then create stable, effective, community-wide crisis housing that serves all people experiencing homelessness. So this goal is really focused on how the system functions, how people can, in the midst of crisis, connect to services, and then what those services look like. What are the community standards? What do we expect of these particular programs? All sort of fits into this strategy. And the fourth one, increase cross-system coordination. Build and improve systems for cross-system collaboration with healthcare, public safety, and workforce development partners. Improve access to treatment and services system-wide by restructuring access and program requirements to reduce barriers. And then create bridge housing pilot program for those discharged from hospitals and treatment facilities. So here, the focus is really on how do we partner with, I think one of the things we've said for a long time in this community is that we're resource rich when you think about the partners. And if you look in the chat at the people that are on this call, they're incredible partners to work with. If we can harness what everyone is doing and really collaborate, and alongside that, build on innovative approaches that are working elsewhere that help that collaboration move forward and connect people to housing, that's going to be a key part of us reaching functional zero. So this is a small part of the draft, but this is really, in terms of the bullet points, this is where the strategy is going. And then I think really what you're going to be interested to see is those implementation plans, right? What can we accomplish in year one? How can we actually get to functional zero in 5 years? What's that going to ask of our community in terms of resources needed? And what is that going to ask of our agencies in terms of expansion and helping to partner with some of these new and innovative programs? So there's a lot to it. I hope this is sort of informative. At this point, I don't think we'll go too deep into questions, but I want you to know that we'll have again an opportunity for you all to look at the full the full document, ask questions, push on it, raise concerns before we ask you to adopt it as a strategy for the continuum.
All right, thanks, Josh. Are there any questions? You didn't want to go too deep, but I don't know if there was any general questions. Thank you. I know this committee has really been working tirelessly to get this out, and we're really looking forward to seeing everything, Josh. So thank you so much. Okay. Josh, you also want to talk to us about HUD's NOFO for some new project opportunities?
Right. At last month's meeting, we talked about the new opportunity that HUD has put out for programs specifically focused at addressing unsheltered homelessness. The timing of this is, I think, great, in connection with our strategic plan. I mean, some of the ways that we can score points and be competitive in that process is by having a comprehensive plan. So I think there's a great alignment there in terms of the work that we've been doing. One of the things we're still waiting to learn more about is the regular COC competition. Really what it looks like, everything that we're hearing is that late summer into fall, we're going to have two competitions going basically at the local level. And so some of that will be exhausting, but the exciting point there is it's a rare opportunity for us to really increase the funding that's coming into our community. And so we had been sort of holding off, waiting to hear about when the deadline was going to be for the regular NOFO before we put together a timeline. Because we haven't heard that yet, we have to go ahead and push out a timeline for the unsheltered NOFO. So that's what's going to happen next. What we'll do is we know that the deadline ultimately for that competition to have everything in is going to be October 20th, which means our local projects will have to be, or local applications will have to be in at least a month ahead of that. So before we get the timeline to you, just know that in early to mid-September, we'll be seeking applications for new projects for the unsheltered NOFO. The beginning of August, the way that we'll launch that process is by holding an informational seminar. So we'll sort of, we'll record it, but we'll have a Zoom meeting where we talk through the eligible projects. We'll talk through the strategic plan and how it calls for us to increase programs available for people who are experiencing unsheltered homelessness. So we'll walk through all of that, what our priorities are. And then after that, we'll invite agencies to begin the application process. Anyone, if you've never received HUD funding before, that doesn't mean you can't apply. This is with either of these programs, new applications are always welcome. And then everything will go through a rating and ranking process ultimately before we affirm what projects we push forward. So I know there's a lot there. I really had hoped that we would learn about what the regular COC timeline was going to look like. We had heard that it was going to be before the unsheltered NOFO, so that would mean before October 20th. But as that delay happens, I'm really not sure if that's still going to be the case or not. So so watch your email. We'll certainly be pushing out more information about that in the next week.
Yeah, I'm really surprised because I'm pretty sure that by the end of July, we've had notice of the regular NOFO in the past. So
Yeah.
that's kind of surprising. So,
Well,
all right, thank you.
Unprecedented for us, I guess unprecedented for them too. It's two competitions for us, but it's also two competitions for that same office that's working to push them out. So I can
Right.
imagine there's a
Well,
lot.
except that the one they've done forever and the one's a new one. So, so yeah. All right. Thank you. Any questions for Josh on that? And since you're on a roll, you want to talk about the coordinated entry update?
Yeah, absolutely. For over a year now, our coordinated entry task group, our board has been talking about the need to replace the assessment that we've used for the last 5 years called the VI SPDAT. There have been studies that have come out that have questioned the VI SPDAT as a tool in terms of, does it allow for equitable access to permanent housing? And so we've done our own evaluation of that at our community as part of the strategic planning process. We've done a full equity analysis. But along the way, we knew that we wanted to abandon the VI SPDAT and move towards a new assessment and new prioritization process for our community. So the first step of that has been digging into how we can effectively assess people for programs that can help them in their homelessness. And at our board meeting 2 weeks ago, our board adopted a new assessment. It's a modification of a resource called the Place Value Tool. And so our coordinated entry group, others are working to say, all right, now that we've got that new assessment in place, how do we build out the rest of the policy? How do we train people? How do we get that ready for launch? And so that work is all going on now. We anticipate launching the new assessment in August, and I think it's a significant step forward for our community. It's certainly something that we'll have to continue to evaluate and likely modify as we move forward. But I know there's been a tremendous amount of work that's gone into it. Tracy Cunningham, our HMIS administrator, has been a crucial help in that process, and several others have come alongside. And so just want you to know as a community that the way coordinated entry works, the way that it looks is changing. And it's certainly something that as we finalize the new policies and procedures and those types of things that you'll be hearing more about.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, Katina, you want to talk to us about the Youth Homeless Summit that's August 31st coming up?
Yeah, so we have, we're holding a youth homelessness summit, like Val said, on August 31st. A little bit of background about how this summit sort of came about. Josh and I had looked into some homeless youth funding about a year ago, the Youth Homelessness Demonstration Program. And in looking through that NOFO and looking into whether we could apply, we sort of had discovered we weren't really in a place to apply yet. We really need to have we need to be able to demonstrate a coordinated community approach to ending youth homelessness through written plans or strategies within the COC. Also, we need to be able to have some youth engagement in the COC through the form of a youth action board. So we're going to hold the summit. We want to bring together agencies and various partners who serve homeless youth or just interested in the topic. We want to present local data. We hope to examine some of the causes of youth homelessness, identify existing community resources, and then also look at needs and then gaps that we may have in the current services, and then discuss long-term and short-term strategies within the continuum. And then also we hope out of the summit, we can create a youth homelessness task force that would be involved in the planning and implementation of a coordinated community approach to preventing and ending youth homelessness. And that would sort of drive our ability to then look to some of these other funding opportunities for our community in the future. So the summit will be 9:30 to noon on the 31st. We do welcome anyone who has knowledge or experience with youth homelessness, or just anyone who's interested in the topic. We really want to get a broad array of people and voices to sort of drive this process. And so if you're interested, I think Josh, we're going to send out an invite and then probably have registration.
Yeah, he put it in the chat box too, Katina. Perfect. Yes.
We'll send out a special email just on that topic too. So that will be coming soon as well.
Okay. Are there any questions on that? Thanks, Katina.
Well, what's the location of this?
Mr. Jordan, we're going to do it through Zoom.
Okay.
That's our plan at this point.
Thanks.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Katina. Thanks for all your work on that. I mean, I think the community would be surprised at the number of homeless youth that there are, and so I'm really excited that you're taking that opportunity to convene this summit and see what we can get going. So thank you so much. All right, in old business, you still have some time to sign up for the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion training. That will be a week from today, and a link to that is in your email. Then we're ready for some agency updates. Is there anyone who'd like to share some of your agency updates?
Val, if I could chime in.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Annie Lanchin with Helping Hands, and I did want to give everyone an update. Long story short, we were awarded a grant by IDA in January that was going to allow us to build a 3-building apartment unit for supported housing. In the process, after being awarded the grant. We did decide that it would be best for legality purposes, property management, that type of thing, to create a separate 501c3, which is Deerfield Reserves, that has its own governing body. They in turn had a gap in funding to be able to build this project of $800,000 on July 5th. Myself and Laura, our supported housing director, and Deerfield Reserves went to the city and requested the additional funding, and were awarded it through the home funds. This is going to allow us to have an additional 22 units of supported housing in Springfield. We are looking at having this available probably mid-summer of next year. The building will be available. It's very exciting. It's going to be, majority of it will be targeted for veterans and seniors experiencing homelessness. And it's a huge project and still seems very surreal for all of us at Helping Hands. We will be the service provider, even with Deerfield being the owner of the project. So really exciting for all of Springfield. And I just wanted to share that with everyone.
And let's just say that's our first of many more to come.
Yes.
That's a big
So
deal.
thank you.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work. So thank you to everyone involved in that effort.
Yes, for sure. Annie, do you have new people? I was noticing a few people I'm unfamiliar with and from
We
your agency.
constantly have new people.
Okay, well, I just noticed, so I thought, not to put you on the spot, but
I do know for sure that Bonnie, who I am going to butcher her last name, because I know that I have it wrong on our voicemail, thank you, is new with us for Rapid Rehousing as our case manager. So I'm sure you all become familiar with her. Other than that, I think in the past month since our last meeting, she's our newest employee.
okay. Well, I
Thank
thought
you,
I was hoping she was newest because I'm like, okay, I wasn't sure. Bonnie, welcome. Thank you so much. You want to say anything at all about what you're doing at Helping Hands?
I'm just very excited to be on here. We've got a lot of folks that we're helping get housed and stable and, sort of back on their feet and back on their own with housing, making sure they're properly resourced so it's sustained.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Any other agency updates?
Yeah, I'm Archie Ford with the Salvation Army Supportive Services for Veterans. I every last Saturday of the month, which will be June 30th, we have a recovery breakfast. I sent that flyer to Josh a few minutes ago so he can push it out to the continuum. And it's open to everybody. You can bring your family, friends. So it's a fellowship. They serve breakfast and then they have a guest speaker. That's my first one. So come and join that. We have also a committee that's putting together a celebration in the park. And the link to signing up for that was in the email yesterday that Josh sent out. And that'll be August the 5th, which is a Friday from 11 to 2. We have quite a few agencies signed up for that. Come out and sweat with us on that. That's going to be a nice event. We're going to have a dunk tank. I'll be one of the participants in the dunk tank. So come out and dunk me.
Okay, what time's that, Archie? So we can all line up.
That'll probably be around 11:30, and I think that Brad also is going to be on there from Washington Street Mission.
Oh, okay.
So at least you'll get to dunk 2 people. We got more too. I think somebody from Helping Hands, maybe Renetta might be on the dunk
Ooh,
tank.
Renetta's saying no.
But that's going to be a fun event. So come on out for that. We'll have haircuts. It's a lot of activity going on. If you want to set up a booth out there, please contact us or go and sign up on that link from yesterday. We also, and that takes care of that. Then we also has started back up Community Connections, which is going to be the second Tuesday of each month from 8:30 to 10:30 over at the Washington Street Mission. Now, you can come over there and set up a table. It's usually anywhere from 80 to 100 plus people that come through there every day. So the second Tuesday of the month would be a good opportunity for you to get your hands on some people that cannot make it or not able to make it to your agency, you can come and meet them there. So that would be a good event for you to attend, and I will send out a invite for that a week before the second Tuesday of each month. And it takes care of me for right now.
Okay, well, you're always busy, aren't you? We appreciate all your everything that you're doing for our community. Thank you so much.
And thank you.
Any other agency updates?
I can go with Memorial
Sure.
Behavioral Health. So I'm Kendra, for anybody who doesn't know me. I'm community engagement. And so we have been working to push out 988. We're getting into some good conversations again with EMS now that our mobile crisis team has been going for a little bit. We're getting feedback finally, and it's just really good because we knew that it wasn't going to be perfect, and so we're wanting to get the feedback. So if any of you guys run into anything, I'll put my information in the chat, and you can, if it's good, bad, whatever, we want all the feedback so that we can either fix it or keep doing it. And I spent a lot of time at the library, so I've been getting to know those folks. And if there's any other places, I'm going to start going to the Breadline. But if there's any other places, oh, hey, thanks. I wore my
Yeah,
trying to be an extra.
I was
over
just
here.
gonna say something about that.
Kendra wins the meeting.
Yeah, so if there's any other places like the library or the Breadline that you maybe hear that they're kind of struggling a little bit or anything like that, I'm not licensed by any means. I just have lived experience, but building relationships is kind of my jam. So I would be happy to come out to different organizations periodically just to check in. I can explain resources, and definitely any community events include me in, because we can set up a table and whatnot. So just excited. I love this group. It's top notch.
Well, we're excited to have you be a part of it. And Josh, did you have a question for Kendra?
Nope, just
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. Okay. All right.
I have a comment on Kendra. She came and presented to our veterans group. She did an excellent job. And then we found out a lot of different information that we didn't know. And then the following week, I had the opportunity to use their services with a veteran out at Capital Retirement Center Village. And that went very, very well. They were there quickly. They did what they said they were going to do. And I was really impressed.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
I do have a question, Kendra, or anybody else that knows. Are there printable resources for 998 that could be visuals we could put around the mission?
Yes, your Washington Street mission.
Mhm.
Yes, I can bring some by. We have, hold on. I have a shoe organizer full of pamphlets on the back of our door. But we have these, and it's pretty simple. It's just you call 988 if someone's in a suicide or mental health crisis, or call 911 if they're in a physical of some sort. We still encourage people to use the mobile crisis, like if they know that they're in crisis and they want to talk to somebody, just go ahead and call mobile crisis so they don't have to go to that extra step. But 988 is for those times when you don't remember that number, and we're hoping that it just is just like 911, that it's just in their brain, and they will be able to get services. And Memorial Behavioral Health is the call center for our 988, so we'll be able to.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Kendra, this is Hannah Turley from the Survivor Recovery Center. We would love some of those too, just to have out and around if anybody could grab them. I can print them if need so, but we'd also like to meet you as well. So that would.
Yeah, I think I do have an electronic copy as well. So I'll put my email in the chat, and anybody who wants anything can just contact me.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
I'll say a couple things. I know
Sure.
that our summer is winding down on the programs that we have. We do have 2 schools that have started already. Southern View and Graham, which are our year-round schools. Those students started this week. So just to let everyone know.
Okay. How's construction going, Terrence?
It's construction. The ones that,
Good answer. Good answer.
the ones that are in the beginning look bad, and the ones that are finishing up look great.
Terrific. Thank you. Anyone else?
Look who I found.
Ah, okay. Anything else? Tracy, you want to give your reminders? You always do.
I was gonna see if you remember or not.
Oh, of course. Are you kidding me? No, you grilled that in my head.
Coordinated entry meeting immediately after. Those that
Okay.
know.
Are there any comments from any of our guests? You know, sometimes we give these and we preach at you. Are there any comments from some of our guests? Not putting you on the spot, just thought I'd give that opportunity. All right, well, thank you. Our next meeting will be August the 18th at 9 a.m. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, thank you, Jane. So I will see you all next month at August the 18th. Thanks for attending. Appreciate all of you.